boys and girls. So we are at our second lesson or second week for math, and our lesson this week is about adding and subtracting fractions. So again, this is going to be a little bit of a review, but this is a good refresher for us because it's been a while since we've done adding and subtracting fractions. Now, your lesson this week has you use number lines. Now, what I'm going to be showing you here is the basis behind adding and subtracting fractions since we've done it before. Okay, so the number line is going to have you jumping and moving by visually seeing it. Okay, now I'm going to show you the actual adding and subtracting fractions because this isn't a new skill, this is a review skill. And I want us to remember this part as well because we can't always draw a number line. Now, for those of us who do need that review with the number line, then use that for your work. However, you can use this as well to help you double check because the purpose is the number line, so please use that for your independent work, but this is just the strategy that shows us the process and how we get to our answer. Okay, so we have two problems here, one addition, one subtraction. So when I'm solving this, I'm going to be adding my numbers straight across. So 3 plus 2, 3, 4, 5. So that equals 5. And then for my denominator, I'm actually not going to add my denominator. This was something that we thought when we solved this in the beginning. We thought, oh, we have to add those denominators straight across, but we're not. If we think about it, if I take, let me sit on this so it doesn't fall. So if I take an apple, I cut it in half, okay? I now have two pieces of an apple, 1/2, 1/2. If I put them back together, I don't have 2/4. I have 1 whole, 2 over 2. That's my fraction here, okay? So we don't add those denominators because we're not changing the amount that we have. We're not changing that bottom number. We're just changing our numerator. We're changing the number of pieces. We're not changing the total when we're adding fractions or subtracting. We're not changing the total. So my denominator is going to be pulled straight across. So I'm still going to have 9. So my final answer here is 5/9. And then same over here. I'm just going to do my regular subtraction. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then same thing. I'm just going to pull my denominator straight across. So it's going to stay as 8. So my answer is 2/8. So now I'm going to fill in these blanks here. So blank and blank straight across. So there's two things here. What are we working on with two things? So I'm going to be adding, I'm going to add slash. The slash is just a thing that's going to mean and. Subtract. Straight across, like we see here. I just added and subtracted as I normally would. Bring the blank over. What did I just move over? I moved the denominator because remember, we're not changing the total. We're just changing the pieces. Okay, so this is just everything that you're going to be covering in your lesson. This stuff down here is something that we worked on when we were in school. So I'm actually going to add this in. This is a little bit of an extension to our lesson, but everyone has done this before. So this isn't really necessarily new learning, but it's more of a review. Okay, because sometimes when we're adding, not necessarily when we're subtracting, but usually only when we're adding, we might have a larger answer, an answer of the number of pieces that's larger than our total. And that's not possible, can't happen. So we have to have a mixed number. So we had mixed numbers when we were in school. that is when we have a whole number and a fraction put together. That might mean that has one whole and then some extra pieces. So like if I'm going to use apple again. So let's say I have 2 apples. I only eat a half of one of them. That means I have 1 and a half left, which would be a mixed number. So here I have 2 ways. We only did one of them actually in school. I'm adding on a second method, but we can subtract out that whole. So this is probably going to be familiar for some of us, but I can subtract out a whole and add that back in for my whole number. So I have to think of my denominator. So my denominator is 7. So I'm going to take out, actually, I use this color down below. I'm going to get a different one. I didn't use this one yet. Whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to take 7/7 out because that's my whole. I know I have to at least take that much out. Okay, so I'm going to be subtracting that out of my fraction. This 7/7 isn't going to go away though. I'm going to make this my whole number. So I'm just taking out that chunk and replacing it into something else. That means this is now going to become 1 and we just did subtracting fractions, so let's subtract it. 8 minus 7, that's 1. So this is becoming 1 and 1/7. Now we might be thinking, how can I make sure I am correct? Because this is, again, a review, but we haven't done it in a while. So I want to make sure my answer is correct. This is how we double check our answer. So I have, go over here, 1 and 1/7, okay? Hopefully this jogs our memory once I do my circles. So let us think about that for a second before I write it in. I have to multiply and then add. Okay, I'm going to do 7 times 1, which equals 7, plus 1 equals 8/7. And it matches. So I was correct. That's how we find it by subtracting. That's how we find our mixed number by subtracting. So the next one, which is new, is when we skip count. So again, I already showed the work already because that's not really the skill that we're working on. We're trying to find out how we can get a mixed number. So I want to skip count. I don't want to go over 13. I just want to get close. 4, 8, 12, 16. Okay, 16 is going to be too high. So I'm going to stop at 12. So my whole number is going to be 3. Oh no, that looks horrible. Okay, hold on. I gotta rearrange. Give me a second. One moment, please. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so 3 is my whole number. So now I have to do a little bit of mental math here, which is kind of the downfall of this method. But if you like doing mental math or can be successful with it, then maybe try this one so it's a little bit easier. I now have to think, what is 13 minus 12? That one's kind of easy. So let me think, 13 minus 12. That's 1. So I have 3 and 1/4. And again, since this is a review, I want to double check my work. I'm going to rearrange for a second. Don't worry, I'm coming back. Do not fret. Okay, I'm back. So I have my double checking over here, 3 and 1/4. I'm going to multiply first again. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So again, my answer matches, 13/4. So I know it's correct. So, like I said from the beginning, the whole purpose of this lesson is to add and subtract fractions. And in your classwork and assessment, you're going to be using a number line to help you. This anchor chart here is to show us how we can add and subtract using our going straight across and remembering to bring the denominator across. Now I'm going to put up some practice problems where you're going to need to use a number line and just some regular subtraction. So it's going to be kind of blending the two together. So look for that. I'll probably post it on Tuesday. So make sure to be paying attention to this. And if you have any questions, make sure to meet me in my office hours. I didn't meet with anybody last week, so I hope that I can see some of my math friends this week. All right, bye guys.